So, very warm welcome, dear team. It's lovely to see you in the consultation for today. My name is Akash Malhotra, and I'll be your financial analyst for today's session. Thank you very much, first of all, for joining the stream. Yet another stream. For today, we'll be talking about a lot, especially about the financial market, and at the same time, we'll be trying to find out the good trading opportunities, especially in this week and the upcoming time. If you have any questions at all, if you want to ask me, make sure that you write down into the comment section. I'll be reading all your comments and we'll be talking about everything which has been happening about the financial market. If you have any question at all that you want wishes to ask me, make sure that you ask me in the comment section. So slowly our audience has been started building up. Mr. Roshanji started saying good evening, Roshanji. Mr. Kiryapak said, good evening, Malhotra sir. Good evening, sir. Mr. Treat said, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir, to you too. Roshanji said, how are you? I'm doing great, Roshanji. Tell me, how about you? How was your week in terms of trading? Were you able to make a good amount of profit or not? And what was the best trading strategy you have used in the last week? So, dear team, before moving forward with the conversation part, let me tell you, for today we'll be trying up one of the easiest trading strategy. And in the last week, we had a discussion about one of the best trading moments in the financial market, which we'll be elaborating for today. I'll be telling you what has happened in the over entire course of the complete week. If you have any question, please make sure that you ask me in the comment section. Right. Okay, in the last week marathon is beautiful. Okay, I hope you like the last week marathon. So for all the clients who are recently joining this stream, make sure that if you are a starter or advanced status client, put a minus symbol in it, and if you are an expert status client, put a plus symbol into the comment section so that I can know how many of you are having a starter and advanced status, and some of you from the expert status. Okay, so Vidushiji Hoshi said, good evening, sir. Good evening, Vidushiji. SS Manna said, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. A very good evening to you too. Azruddinji said, $500 deposit not coming, bonus coming. I'm not really sure that I got you a question, but Mr. Azruddin, if you have any question in particular, Olymp Trade is working 24/7. Our helpline number is there. You can chat to our analyst or the support team members, have a word with them, and forward your concern accordingly. If any questions persist to you, make sure that you forward your concern to the respective department. Our team will take care of your situation and make sure that whatever the amount, whether it has been like in terms of deposit or withdrawal, will be credited to you at the earliest possible time. Okay, so Vidushiji said, sir, can you please little about the momentum strategy? I would love to, but unfortunately, the name of the stream for today is diving strategy. So we'll be talking about the diving strategy. And if we have some spare time at the end of the stream, I will teach you how the momentum strategy works. Okay. Mr. Kerrypick said, I have advanced status and booked a webinar on Monday. Congratulations, sir. Our analyst team will be waiting for you. Ganeshji said, hello. Hello, Ganeshji. Mr. Prince Pradhan said, good evening, sir. Good evening to you too, sir. Okay, so Ganeshji said, my deposit is not been created. So first of all, the deposit also depends upon the which payment method you have selected. So every payment method have their respective credit time. So make sure if the credit time, like for take an example for UPI, the maximum credit time, it also depends upon the existing situation, but 24 hours. If the 24 hours has already been passed and the amount is still not been created, reach out to our support center. There is a special chat section available here. Forward your concern and our team will take care from that part. Okay, so I really wanted to know how was your week, dear team. So tell me, which trading strategy did you work out in the last week, and did it work out well for you or not? And in the meantime, I will tell you what had been happening from the last week. There were tremendous trading opportunity not only on one currency pair but all the major currency pairs. So we had a conversation about in the last stream about that. So if all of you remember, first of all, let me tell you that if you missed this specific stream, go on to the Olymp Trade or global channel and find out the last stream which I had on last Friday. And there I was very keenly talking about one specific asset, which we call it as Bank of Japan data. Now, Bank of Japan releases their interest rate decision, and this is another month where they failed to increase the interest rate. They are actually offering money to the people so that they will be able to, borrow some funds and increase their purchasing power. But people in the Japan tend to save more, and that is one of the reason why the Japanese economy is deflating. That means, like, for us it is the inflation is happening, but for them it's not. So what Bank of Japan usually does, because of this fact, if you will see, the value of Japanese yen is been keep on depreciating. The USD is rising against Japanese yen. It went to like around 144, and back in the time it went like around 151, which is all time high. Now, to reduce this kind of, like, whenever, let's think from a situational point of view. Suppose Japan wants to import some goods from the other countries, but the value of yen has been highly depreciated. That means they have to pay a little higher sum to buy their goods, and this is what bothering the Japanese yen. So what they usually, central bank comes into the consideration, and what they do, they increase the interest rate so that the existing situations regarding that would be resolved. But the fact here, which is happening right now, they are not increasing the interest rate. This is the last country, if I'll say, which is into the negative borrowing state. That means they are offering minus 0.1% interest rate. That means you can borrow a lot of funds from the government itself. So right now, just because of that fact, I was having a conversation with you, a lot of you guys. Exactly from 8 to 8:30 was the time which I have told in the last stream, where there was a very high probability for USD JPY to rise. And this is what exactly has happened. Market moved tremendously, not only in one Japanese yen currency, but all the currency associated with the Japanese yen. And I was very happy to see the results, right? On 19, this has happened. I got a very good email from my client, so that he ended up making like around $23,000. It was an amazing results, considering the fact that they were able to grab that opportunity and able to make a good amount of profit in it. So yeah, our objective is to help you out understand market to the best possible extent possible from our end. Another thing is to make you understand how easy it is to make money in the financial market once you know how the financial market works. Let me go through your comments once again, and then I'll show you my trading results on that. Okay, so Mr. Sayyam said hello, hello Mr. Sayyam. Mr. Gidon said, sir, good evening, sir. Can you say something about the commission in FX? No. So, as an expert status client, the maximum value of commission, which has been far lesser compared to the starter and advanced status. But let me tell you, during the market volatility, even if you take trades in the different platform as well. So the thing at that moment is like the opening and closing code basically increases by a huge margin. So commission is the value which Olymp Trade charges on opening on a single trade. The value of commission basically depends upon the value of multiplier that you select. That means it's an leverage that you select. So if you'll see, if I'll open up a trade with the $100, the commission which has been charged is around $6.94. But if I keep on reducing the value of multiplier, the commission rate will be reduced drastically. So it also depends upon the existing situation. There are multiple ways to use multiplier. I'll tell you how to do that as well in the upcoming conversation. I hope it clarified your doubt, Mr. Gidon. So there are okay. So there are two kind of commission. First of all, the first value of commission is the trading commission, which has been charged for opening up the trade, and the second value of commission is the overnight commission, which has been charged if you keep your trade alive from one day to another day, and some sort of commission will be charged on that. So I'll give you an example. So okay, so I open up the trade by today only. So if you will see the value of commission which was charged on $300, it was around $3.99, which is far lesser, I believe. It's just 1%. And second thing is like if I keep the trade alive for the next day, but tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday, so the market, financial market will be already closed at that moment. But the overnight charges will be charged from Monday onwards. So it would be 1.56 USDT. So that's a very small amount compared to that. So there are two ways to keep your trade. So first of all, the trading commission which is being charged on opening of the trade, which is also based on the value of multiplier that you select. And the second one is the overnight commission if you keep your trade alive for the next day. Okay, let me go ahead and read all your comments. There are a lot of comments which have been happening, and then we will switch to the live trading part, which is my favorite one, I believe. Okay, let me see. For today's, our accuracy level was like around how many percent? It was around 77%, which is again a good value of percentage profit margin. Okay, so we will have another comment. Mr. Emmanuel said, hello Mr. Emmanuel. रोहित जी सर मैं 10 यूरो से स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ, प्लीज़ मुझे कुछ टिप्स दीजिए, सजेशन दीजिए कि मैं इसे कैसे 100 यूरो करूँ. रोहित जी, द फर्स्ट एडवाइस फ्रॉम माई एंड इज स्टार्ट with at least minimum $100 and keeping the profit margin to not more than 20%. So suppose you have $100 or 100 euros in your trading account, so maximum profitability considering that specific amount should not be greater than 20%. It's the maximum value. And the non-profitable margin, that means suppose if you are not able to make around $20 for that specific day, your non-profitable margin should be 10% of the existing balance, which is $10. So either you make $10, either you make $20 or lose $10. These are the two situations where you will try to quit the market at that moment. If you try to make from $10 to $100, that means you are multiplying your existing profit by 10 times. It's very difficult to do that. Some of the people can do that, but like if you are thinking about from $10 you will make $100 in a single day, it is really difficult at times. You have to be very keen about the understanding market. This is what every trader needs to do. Okay, let me go through your comments once again. Mr. Alphabet said, is it bad to trade around the Christmas holidays? Christmas holidays, we have all the assets available. You have OTC market available, and the second one is composite index are also there. So it's not bad to trade around the Christmas holidays. I usually take trades during the time. So there is nothing to worry about. Okay, so love to trade in Olymp Trade. Mr. Pegasus said. So we also love you too. Thank you very much for being the part of our team. Okay, so we have another comment. Sir, please guide me about money management issue which I am facing. I am an expert status. Make sure first of all you join the session with the analyst, and the second most important thing is if you want a session on the money management, make sure you follow 1:2 rule. That means your 1 day profit. Let's just think about the situation that your 1 day profit is $20 and your 1 day losses, which is risk and reward. So your risk is around 1% and your profit is around 2. So that means your 1 day profit is able to recover your 2 days losses. That is 1:2 risk to reward ratio. And following this, you will never be able to be in a non-profitable state ever. If you keep following that specific rule, dear team. Okay, let me go through your comments and then we'll switch to the live trading part, which I'm missing a lot in the stream. Okay, how do I know which strategy is working today or not? It also depends upon the market volatility. Yeah, it's absolutely sure. So nobody can be very sure about in which direction there is a high probability for market to be. By using the different set of indicators and oscillators, you will get a little hint whether the market is volatile at that very moment or not. Now, if it is volatile, I would highly request you to wait for the market to stabilize itself and then take a trade. Specifically, I usually ask my clients to, like, whenever the major impact news usually releases in the financial market, it's around 7 p.m. And Indian Standard Time is what I'm talking about. So exactly at 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 15 minutes earlier and 15 minutes later, the market will be little volatile. So be very careful while opening the trade at that moment, because the major impactful news releases usually gets released at that specific moment. Why can't we set up 5 minutes trade? We can do that, right? In FTT, you can, instead of selecting 1 minute duration, 3 minutes duration, you can go ahead with 5 minutes duration expiration time as well. In fact, we'll be taking some live trades in my trading account, and yeah, we'll be talking about them in much more detailed manner. So there is nothing to worry about. If you have any question, please make sure that you ask the question to me. Specifically, exactly according to, I believe it would be 12 minutes from now, there would be big impulse candle happening to be released on USD. It would be biggest candle because PCE price index data will be releasing. That means it's an inflation indicator, the price of goods, whether it will increase or decrease, which is what we understood from the PCE price index. So yeah, the data will be released accordingly. So make sure you analyze the market and then take a trade. Right, the market would be very volatile, and it will also be volatile for GDP report will be released for Canadian. So GDP is the gross domestic products data, which is C plus G plus I, or what we call it as an investment. C means consumption, G means government spending, and I means an investment plus export minus import is what GDP usually means, and that's how they usually calculate it. It's been released once in every 3 months. We'll have definitely a good conversation about that in the upcoming time. Okay, let's skip the theoretical part. Let's switch to the practical part. For today, dear team, as you can see, the name of the stream is Secret Profitable Trading according to the diving strategy. For today, we'll be working up with one of the easiest trading strategy which is available in here. The name of the strategy is diving trading strategy. For all the advanced and expert status client, this strategy will be already available for you, but for some of those clients who do not have access to advanced and expert status, in that situation I'll teach you how to craft this trading strategy manually. Okay, let's go ahead and analyze this. You can go ahead on the technical analysis symbol, click in here, then go to strategies option. Once you click strategy option, you scroll it down, you will see diving strategy, which is with 2 arrows. For all the new traders, please, if this trading strategy is not available for you, I'll teach you how to craft this strategy manually. Okay, you click on the diving strategy, you press on the enable strategy option, and everything will be applied automatically. In case you know what setup it basically requires, it requires SMA 20, rate of change oscillator for selected 7, and rate of change oscillator selected for 14. These are selected for 2 different periods. Once we applied this, everything will be applied automatically, and what we need to do is to wait for a good entry point. We probably have a signal. We'll start with a very small amount in this situation, and we'll see how the market basically reacts. So here in the strategy, you will see 2 segments. Okay, so it was actually pointing us in downward direction. We could have waited for this one to turn up into the upward direction. But anyways, even if the trade is non-profitable, we'll try to use the martingale approach and try to recover our funds. Okay, now the strategy has been already applied. I'll teach you how every indicator and oscillator works by itself. Okay, let's try to think about this. If you'll see, there is a blue line available, right? This is SMA 20 lines. What it is basically doing, it is averaging out last 20 candles and plotting everything in terms of the line. Now what does it mean? Here you will be easily able to find trend. Usually SMA 20 and 10 are used to check the trend. Watch it very closely. If the candles are above this SMA line, that means it's a very strong uptrend. The further the distance the candle have from the central line or this SMA line, the stronger the trend it indicates. And in that situation, never trade against the trend. That's the basic idea in trading which has been used over worldwide. Trend has always been your friend, so never take a trade against the trend. That's the first part. And second confirmation you will receive is from rate of change oscillator. Now this oscillator is been selected default at the period of 40. That means here rate of change oscillator is comparing highs of last candles, 14 candles, and basically showing us in terms of bars. Okay, I believe our trade is profitable. Nice. So that's the first profitable trade. Yeah, we are doing good now. Okay, so I was on a point, right? If you see these bars, so it shows last 14 candle decrease or increase in the strength. So if the bars are pointing us in downward direction, that means strength has been decreasing continuously. And if the bars are pointing us in upward direction, that means strength has been increasing. So what we need to do, we have to analyze the trend accordingly. If the strength is pushing itself into the downward direction and the size of bar is also increasing, that means trend is a very strong downtrend. It's a very strong downtrend. And if the bar formation is increasing into the upward direction, that means it's also a very strong uptrend. That's the first signal for us. Third signal, if you will see this as a reference line, which is a zero line. Again, this is rate of change oscillator, but this oscillator has been selected for the period of 7. That means it shows a quicker signal compared to what we have on rate of change 14. These are both rate of change oscillator, but here it's an aerial or area representation, and here it's a bar representation. Okay, now let's check this efficiently. If the area is expanding into the upward direction, it is also a sign for uptrend. Can you see this green candle formation? It's a sign for uptrend. And same goes to the downtrend. If you will see, RS rate of change oscillator will give you a quicker signal compared to all the assets, and here it is pointing us in downward direction, so we could have taken a trade in downward direction. So all the dear team, let me tell you, I am taking trades in my live account are basically based on my experience. I have been working with Olymp Trade from last 5 years, and my main objective is again to help out my client to understand how to make money under the different circumstances. But our objective is to first of all teach our clients how the financial market works. So I want to inform you that trading in the financial market involves a very high risk and may lead to partial or complete loss of invested fund. I also would like to inform you that action performed on my trading account are based on my trading experience, and probably repeating these actions you act at your own discretion. And I also would like to inform you that on YouTube the candles showed are little delayed, right? So there is a 30 to 1 minutes duration lagging happening between the live stream that I am doing right now and what are you seeing on YouTube. So if you try to copy my trade, there is a high probability that the delay in the execution can happen with you, and there is a probability of the non-profitable trade. So make sure first of all you analyze the market, and then we trade accordingly. Let me go to your comments. Which news? Acha, we had one comment here. Which news is the best for financial market? Suggest me. Mr. Hoshi, the best news is interest rate decisions. These are the best thing that can ever happen in financial market. The second one is consumer price index data, and the third and most important one is non-farm payroll. These would be a very important updates on which one can work on. Okay, let's get to the live trading part once again. So here how we will be able to analyze the trend. So the first and most important thing is the candle should be above this blue line. That would be the first signal for you. The second signal would be we need rate of change oscillator for the period 14 should be pointing us in upward direction. That would be our second signal. And the third signal confirmation would be from rate of change oscillator. The area should be rising from 0 to upward direction. If you have 3 out of 3 signals, that means it's a very good opportunity to open up an up trade, up direction trade. Let me switch to some live signals. You can tell me, okay, we probably have a signal on this. Let me use a risk-free trade. We have one risk-free trade for $50. Let's just check that out. And also, we could have, if you could have taken a trade couple of candles back, that could have been a very good opportunity. That's why one of the reason I'm using is RFT right now, risk-free trade right now. Okay, now watch it very closely. So the first confirmation that we will have is from the candle is crossing this blue line from top to bottom. That's a downtrend confirmation. The second confirmation you will see, we need at least rate of change should be pointing us in downward direction at that very moment. And if the rate of change 7 oscillator area is also expanding into the downward direction, that's where we take a trade into the same direction. And yeah, be very careful. It should not be whenever you are taking trades on index, no. So the one first part you have to understand is these one. If there is a very close support line, avoid taking trades at that very moment. It would be very risky for you in case you are taking trades on situations like these. If it is a very close to support line, then it's better to wait whether the support has been broken or the resistance has been broken, and then we will execute the trade into the same direction. We have one comment, sir, how to change rate of change and area chart. Unfortunately, on the default part the area is available, but once you try to customize this, there is no option to do that. You either have to select in terms of bars. Dear team, is what I believe in. Okay, let's try to open couple of more trades and let's see how our trade is going on so far. I believe it was negative in the first part, but since we have selected a little higher time duration, you see, dear team, taking trades on the shorter duration can be a little riskier, but once you have selected the sufficient time period for the trading, there is a high probability for your trade to be profitable on that, and our trade is profitable. Okay, let's switch the asset and we'll reduce the intensity already because we made a good amount of profit in couple of trades. Once you trade with higher volume, make sure you reduce the volume after that, since you have made a good amount of profit. So we have a support level here where rate of change is slightly on to the upward direction, but this candle we have to keep a very closer look on this. The area is also pointing us in upward direction. In the support level, it was a good opportunity. Okay, let's wait for it. We have to take into the consideration of the last support level. If the specific level has been broken, then only we will take a trade in that specific direction. Although some strategy will give you a quicker signals, we will open up a trade in here. Some sort of correction can happen on this one. Okay, so this one is pointing us in upward direction, and the area is actually very close to zero level. That's why we took the trade into the upward direction. But we also need to consider the fact that the last support and resistance level should be checked periodically. If it is very close to the support and resistance level, make sure you wait whether the support level has been broken or not. We have given a couple of minutes for the asset to settle down. Let's change the asset once again. Okay, so good opportunity here. See, crossing upward direction, will take a trade in 2 minutes duration. So here, this should be higher than the specific level. That's the first signal. Second one is this area should be pointing us into the upward direction. That would be second. And the third opportunity would be here, the bar should be in from bottom to top. So most important thing that you have to realize is it should be a cyclic variation. The data was supposed to be released. Okay, let me check what was the data, and that's why there was the biggest market volatility in here. So PC price index, how did it turn out to be? Okay, so gold is decreasing, that means the price of USD must be increasing. So our trade should be on the profitable front, I believe. On Forex, let me check my Forex trade. Not on Euro USD, I think on this account I have taken the trade. There's one trade which I have executed. Let me see on USD. Yeah, it's profitable right now. And that's an amazing grade. So PC price index turned out to be positive. Okay, let me just refresh the page. Just give me a moment, dear team. What you are seeing right now here is the biggest market volatility. So the market news has been released recently. Okay, so we ended up making like around 12% profit. Nice. So there was a very good probability for USD to rise, and that is why we have taken a trade into the afternoon segment as well. So any price for USD JPY 140 level can be a very good level of support. Even though the data for PC price index turned out to be red, The candle formation that we are seeing here in the 1 minute duration is the greener one. Okay, let it settle down. The variation is high. We have a very moderate set of multiplier 100, so even if we keep the trade alive, that won't do any harm to us. Okay, let me switch to my trading account once again. The gold trade, acha, we haven't realized at that moment, so the data was released, and that was the worst part about this. Yeah, we could have seen the data would have been released at the same moment, but rather than seeing that. Okay, so right now taking trades on any currency pair would be very volatile. So we'll be sticking our trading journey on here. Okay, let's do it here. Let's do a little recovery part. So here is the resistance level. What we need is a confirmation from these bars that it should be pointing us in downward direction. Okay, so this trade specifically taken is on support and resistance level. The second thing that we are understanding about this area is it was actually pointing us in downward direction. And here there was a red candle formation occurred, and which has been little volatile right now. Let's wait for this asset to settle down. Probably due to the market volatility, the candle formation is slightly away. Okay, so let's check what's the variation happening on Canadian dollar, because the Canadian GDP was about to release at that moment. Canadian GDP is negative. Okay, let's check with every pair. Okay, it's negative right now. Let me check it for 30 minutes. It's a sharp red trend going on. Give me a moment, dear team. Let me understand what's happening in the financial market right now. Okay, so Canadian GDP is negative. All right. PCE price index data also turned out to be negative and neutral, which in turn turned out USD on the positive front. Let me check USD JPY first. If it is rising, that means the price of gold is also decreasing. Okay, not on this. Let me just go ahead on the trade. It's 13% profit. Good. Right. Okay, let me switch back to our trading account. Okay, let me go through your comments as well at the time. No signal in here. Let's switch. Right now we will be sticking strictly to the index part. There is a sudden volatility in the index. What's the expiration time? How much time is remaining for us on this? 28 seconds. We did took the trade, but it was on the red candle. Let's see how it basically goes from here. And we'll try to shuffle between assets. Okay, so also remember, dear team, if you have 3 back-to-back non-profitable trade, we will take the break at that very moment. Okay, let's change the assets. Okay, so there is a very good level of resistance. We can see it in here. A red candle formation is happening right now. No signal. Okay. Do we have a confirmation here? It's below 0. Let me reduce the volume once again. Yeah. Below 0. This one is also pointing in downward direction, and so as the rate of change. Let's find some good signals on another asset. So it's recovering. That means USD must be tumbling down. So our USD trade should have been in the negative side right now. This one is pointing us in upward direction. Okay, that's the fair signal. What about this? resistance level. We can, okay, let's go ahead with $5 into downward direction on this. One confirmation, second confirmation, and there is a very good level of resistance we can see right now here. Okay, all right, let's take couple of more trades. We'll try to find out the best signal for us. Okay, index is increasing very strongly, so I still believe, okay, what's the reason behind it? 0.117 level has been reached, and there it is, a price correction candle happening. Do we have any support and resistance at this level? Let me just switch it to 5 minutes or 10 minutes duration. Nope. So here we can take the trade along with the trend. Let me see. So what I'm basically doing right now, whenever you find any kind of index which is moving strongly into the upward direction, there is a probability of the price correction candle happen to be here. But the overall strength which is been showing to us into the upward direction, that's why even though it is a red candle appearance, but there is a very good chances for this asset to move into the same direction. That's why we have given 3 more minutes in case for the asset to settle down if it basically bounce back from this level of resistance, in case if it is there. Okay, so let's try to find some good trades. We haven't found it yet. Let me change the asset, and if our trades are non-profitable, then we'll try to double the amount and recover the losses. Okay, do we have a signal in here? No signal in here. Okay, they are below this SMA line, no signal in here. Rate of change is oscillator is actually pointing us in downward direction, but there is no specific signal available. Okay, so flattened market support level, even though it's a support level, but the signal doesn't confirm with this analogy. So we'll skip this. Let's go with the Astro Index. We are not taking trades on the currency pair just because of the volatility in the financial market. There is a very high volatility happening in the US market right now because of the PCE price index data which was released just before 9 minutes. So here it's a very dicey signal. If you'll see, this bar is actually pointing us in downward direction and the area is also decreasing. These are not a good signal. Resistance level, Astro Index, okay. Let's get back to cricket index again. Our trade which we have taken into the positive direction started recovering from this existing level. Okay, we thought of like the continuation will go on this asset, but it bounced back like anything. Okay. Okay, there is a good opportunity. This bars is pointing us in downward direction. Here we'll take a trade into the downward direction again. We have given 3 minutes to settle down. Let's wait. See, it's been seemingly the market is on the shakier grind right now. Okay, Mr. Gidon said made some money on USD JPY. Sudden news release. Congratulations, Mr. Gidon. Usually, what happens whenever the financial market, the news any releases, I would highly consider you to take the probability of in whichever the direction the first candle usually goes, we follow the trend in that specific direction. Okay. There is a level of resistance. The rate of change is pointing us in downward direction, and this one is also pointing us in downward direction. Mr. Keryapak said, I am learning so much and enjoying your webinars. Thank you very much. I hope you are enjoying webinars as well. Our main objective is again to teach you how effective it can be once you know how the financial market works. And once you know it, there is nothing stopping you from that very moment. Let's change asset once again. Oh, Euro USD is rising. Okay, nice. It recovered considerably, very easily and very early, I believe. I never thought that it would be recovered so easily. Exactly at 7 this has happened and started recovering. Okay, let's change the asset once again. GBP USD is acting in the same manner. This one is actually pointing us in upward direction. However, due to the volatility, the bars formation is also pointing us in downward direction. So no good signals lying around here. Okay, let's change it. Currency pairs being very volatile right now. So dear team, I hope you are enjoying today's session. Sir, please tell how to trade on news events, Mr. Solo Music said. Economics events are one of the best events to maximize your potential of profit. It's way easy to make money. So what you have to do, first of all, you have to check at least 5 to 6 earlier datas. And once you are very sure about it, in whichever direction the first candle usually go, first of all, you have to gather which data is important, right? Then how big is the size of that candle at the earlier time. The bigger the candle it is, the stronger the trend it usually follows. Size of candle indicates the importance of the information or the event. Second most important factor about that is you have to know the market is full of all the uncertainties. So especially in forex is something which I try to take trades on. For I love taking trades on fundamental analysis. I have been doing from a very long time, and majority of the time I have succeeded by a great margin. So if you'll see, USD JPY in the first term was showing us around 14%, right? Right now it went to the negative direction. So the first impulse has happened. The fact that it went into the upward direction was the buying and selling conditions. So here what basically has happened, even though the data was negative, the USD JPY started camping. And there, when they actually realized it, they started selling their existing positions. So after the very first impulse, the market started recovering after 3 minutes. Now this is how the market usually follows the trend. You have to understand the trend and take trades accordingly. Okay, let's try to switch between asset because we haven't find. Okay, so good signal, but the level of resistance is here. Not very sure about this. Nope, no signal confirmation. Let's skip this. Make sure especially on index, we keep a very closer look on the last support and resistance level because it usually follows that. No signal in here. Okay, so we have one comment. Mr. Pralay Kumar Sadhu said, "Bhai, slow time चल रहा है आपका." Mr. Pralay, it's because YouTube basically, when I'm actually taking trades and I'm watching the market at the same time, if you're watching it, it would be shown with a little delay. While the actual time span of the streaming and the stream which is being shown to you right now, there is a gap of around 30 to 1 minutes duration, sir. And that's why probably you are feeling like, the stream is little slow or something, that sort, but it's not. On cricket index, we have a red candle. Okay. Let it move into the downward direction and then we will take a trade accordingly. No signal confirmation yet so far. Let's reduce to 5 minutes, $5. Okay. We took the trade for 2 minutes duration into the downward direction. So it's very easy to understand the trend. The first thing that you need to understand is the candle should be above this line. That would be the first signal. The second signal confirmation would be this bar should be pointing us in upward direction. That would be the second confirmation. And the third confirmation you will receive from rate of change, whether it is pointing us in upward direction or not. The name of the strategy, for all the new traders who have recently joined this session, the name of the strategy is diving strategy. Now, in case you don't know how this diving strategy works, or to craft this strategy, I'll teach you how to craft this strategy. But rate of change oscillator would be something different. So let me remove this. For all the starter status client, let me tell you, this is very easy strategy. So first, what you'll need to do, you have to visit to indicators part. Here you have to select SMA. The period is 20, which is the default value, right? Couple of more things we will need. We need rate of change oscillator. So instead of selecting indicators, we'll go to oscillators. We select a rate of change. We need couple of them right now. Okay, so here's the second one. We selected both of rate of change. However, the first rate of change oscillator should be selected to 7, and we select them in terms of red color. This is an indication part. The 14th rate of change oscillator, so there is only two options available. However, in the strategy segment, there is an area option available when the strategy is already been saved. But however, if you are creating the strategy custom, you have to select both of them into the bars formation. And if the both of these bars, so if you will see this, rate of change 7 and rate of change 14, it would be very convenient for you if you see something like this in terms of analysis. Let's see how effective the trades are right now. No better signal I am seeing from any specific asset. Okay, this one was pointing us in upward direction here, but there is no signal right now. Let me switch to currency pairs right now, because all the major economic events have already been passed exactly at 7. We also have the building permits data. We have a resistance level. It should be pointing us in downward direction right now. Yeah, we have a building permit data. Let me see. It would be released exactly around 8:30 according to the Indian Standard Time, right? Okay. So this one is pointing us in downward direction. Let's wait for it. We have a little level of support. We wait for the next candle formation to be. If this candle basically breaks this level, this specific levels with the red candle, so we will take a trade in it. Until then, not. Support and resistance is something that you have to be very keen. And if the 1 minute duration graph is not giving you the profit at all, you select the 5 minutes duration graph and then take trades accordingly. I usually prefer taking trades on higher. Okay, nice, nice. It's a very sharper downtrend right now. It's a very strong downtrend. We could have been able to open up a trade at this moment. See, it broken all the support level, and then the red candle formation happened to be here, and we could have opened up the trade into the downward direction at this specific time. No signal in here. We probably are running out of signals right now. Let's find. Okay, so all the assets are pointing very strongly into the downward direction. Commodity composite, Europe composite, and so as the Asia composite index. All the momentum is already been gone right now. So we'll probably switch to another asset for the time being. It's a very strong trend happening, but there is no signal right now. Let's skip this. Okay, we probably had taken a trade on this level, but we are not very certain about this. So let me switch to one of my risk-free trade, and let's see whether we have the price correction on this or not. Let me switch to 1 minute duration based on the analytics we have used so far. So there is nothing to worry about. The trade which we have taken is the risk-free trade. even the trade is non-profitable, it will do no harm to us. I had some risk-free trades available. I use them when I'm not very sure whether the market volatility is according to the existing situations or not. Okay, this one is pointing us in upward direction. Let's go ahead. Upward direction. What is the good time for scalping? Scalping is something which you are stay in the market for a very shorter duration. You take the trade and you leave the market. That is what basically you do. We had a very good trend. This bar was pointing us in upward direction, so as this bar. Let's wait for the market to move accordingly. So I hope, dear team, you are enjoying today's special webinar. There are a lot of factors about the financial market we'll be discussing, especially for today. Okay. If you remember, we took the trade, one risk-free trade. I am not really sure, but it's profitable. See? Nice. Our analogy was good. We took the trade for 1 minute duration, 1 minute graph, 1 minute duration. And the second trade seems to be also at the profitable side. I just hope it keeps on climbing, because right now the price correction is happening on the same candle. Let's wait for it to happen. Let's change the asset till the time. Okay, so no signal in here. Okay, so the market is steadily. So a lot of doji candle formation is something that we should always avoid in trading. If there is a lot of candle formation, that means the market, a lot of small candle formation, that means there is a lot of market volatility at the moment. Mr. Keriapak says, sir, I have one doubt that during the Fed interest rate, how many hours before we should open a down trade in basic dollar index? So usually before 12 to 13 hours of the release of this data, the price of dollars keep on decreasing, right? So here you can take the trade for around 4-5 hours or something, for the higher time duration, for the higher profitability. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed today's session, dear team. It's lovely to meet you once again. And I'm very happy since you have joined this session. I'll be waiting for our next webinar. It's lovely to meet you, and a very happy Christmas. I wish you all the best and have a great day ahead. Good luck in trading. Thank you very much for being with me for today.